On August 15, 2005, a perplexing anomaly materialized on naval tracking systems near Florida's coast. Lieutenant Commander Richard Morgan was the first to discern the peculiar readings, observing routine submarine movements when the anomaly appeared. Located roughly 10 miles east of Key West, it rested within an unexplored underwater trench, its unusual magnetic properties rendering most equipment useless upon approach. What initially seemed like a submarine fault rapidly escalated into something far more unsettling. "Admiral, we've encountered something extraordinary," Richard exclaimed, his gaze fixed on the persistent green blip on his display. "It's immense, far too large for any of our vessels, and its movement defies all known tracking patterns." Admiral Theodore Fletcher ambled over, coffee mug in hand, his salt and pepper eyebrows knitting together as he examined the monitor. "Russian? Perhaps Chinese?" he mused. "No, sir. It emits no recognized propulsion signature, and it's simply resting there, about 900 feet down." "Wreckage from a cargo ship?" Richard countered, shaking his head. "There are no recent reports of lost vessels, and this object is emitting energy readings. Faint, yes, but undeniably present." Admiral Fletcher savored a long sip of his coffee, his weathered features betraying no emotion. "Deploy a reconnaissance team. Maintain utmost discretion." By August 17th, the Navy had dispatched a small, unmarked vessel carrying a team of 5 specialists. The mission remained highly classified, even within most naval echelons. Commander Abigail Winters, a seasoned expert in peculiar maritime encounters and one of Admiral Fletcher's most trusted confidants, led the expedition. "Maintain constant radio contact," he had emphasized. "The moment anything feels amiss, you withdraw. We seek intelligence, not heroism." The small research vessel reached the designated coordinates precisely at 0700 hours. The ocean lay eerily still, its surface like glass, a phenomenon several crew members found remarkably unusual given the expected maritime conditions. The ordinarily chaotic seas in that sector grew eerily calm. "It's as if something is muffling the waves," noted Lieutenant Marcus Sanderville, the team's sonar expert. His dark eyes narrowed, keenly observing his instruments. "And there's more. My gear is functioning flawlessly. It shouldn't be." Abigail peered over his shoulder. "Explain." "This region is infamous for equipment malfunctions, a mysterious electromagnetic disturbance that has defied all explanations. That's precisely why it remains uncharted. Yet everything is performing at peak efficiency." The team launched their state-of-the-art underwater drone, a prototype capable of descending to 1,500 feet, relaying crystal-clear video and sonar data instantly. As the drone plunged deeper, the water progressively darkened until its powerful LEDs pierced the gloom like piercing beams. 900 feet, Marcus reported. "We must be nearing the anomaly." The video feed abruptly wavered, the image distorting for a fleeting moment before sharpening. And then, they beheld it. "My God," Abigail breathed. The drone's lights revealed not a submarine or a sunken vessel, but something entirely alien. A colossal triangular edifice. Its exterior bore what seemed to be a blend of marine growth and a metallic substance that still shimmered, despite ages, perhaps eons, submerged. The structure was immense, spanning at least 300 feet at its broadest dimension. "That's not ours," Marcus stated the obvious. "Nor is it Russian or Chinese." "Are you considering the same possibility?" Abigail inquired softly. No words were exchanged. None were needed. Their thoughts converged. They were gazing upon something that did not originate from Earth. "Contact Washington immediately," Abigail commanded, "and ensure this transmission is secured with no unauthorized copies." Within a single day, the location teemed with naval ships, all cloaked under the pretense of a military drill. The president was informed, and a dedicated team was quickly gathered, comprising not only military experts, but also brilliant minds from various scientific fields. This triangular enigma, now christened Poseidon, was poised to become humanity's most intensely scrutinized relic. Among the chosen was Dr. William Harrison, a celebrated marine archaeologist specializing in uncharted oceanic mysteries. At 65, his life had been immersed in the ocean's depths far more than any creature, and he was the definitive authority on underwater excavation methods. Decades of relentless sun had etched lines onto his seasoned face, and his hands bore the indelible stains of countless career chemicals. "Astonishing," he breathed, poring over the first images. Its design clearly prioritizes hydrodynamics, suggesting deliberate movement through water, or perhaps another liquid environment. Also enlisted was Dr. Sofia Rodriguez, a leading astrobiologist from NASA, and Rear Admiral James Cooper, tasked with commanding the military facets of this endeavor. Cooper, a seasoned officer with 3 decades of unwavering service, projected an aura of no-nonsense authority, underscoring the profound importance the government placed on this find. "Our paramount concern is absolute containment," Cooper stated during the initial meeting. "No detail escapes this chamber. To the public, we are merely engaged in standard oceanographic surveys." "And the subsequent objective?" Sophia inquired, her sharp gaze meeting the Admiral's. "Ascertaining any potential threat it may pose to our security. It's rested in the abyss for an immeasurable duration," William added. "Surely if it harbored danger, we'd already be aware." Cooper's demeanor remained unyielding. "That is precisely what we are here to determine, Dr. Harrison." The mission itself was cloaked in a nondescript code name, Project Deep Blue, with a carefully crafted public narrative of deep-sea mineral exploration. Simultaneously, the true investigation commenced with a progression of increasingly sophisticated, intricate, distant investigations of the anomaly unveiled a colossal triangular form, spanning roughly 350 feet, its interior hinting at numerous concealed levels. Strikingly, its exterior bore perfectly circular apertures, each precisely 15 inches wide, arranged in deliberate, almost artistic configurations across its surface. These were clearly access points, mused Sophia during a detailed examination, or possibly sophisticated sensory organs, or even armaments, Cooper interjected grimly. William sighed, a familiar exasperation in his tone. "Must every enigma be a weapon, James? Not all that remains uncharted signifies peril. In my professional judgment, Dr. Harrison, the unknown typically translates to the unpredictable, and unpredictability is merely a synonym for danger." This spirited debate between military vigilance and scientific inquiry persisted for days as additional intelligence arrived. The object's metallic skin, an alloy utterly alien to their understanding, rebuffed every sampling effort. Remote imaging struggled to pierce beyond a few feet, suggesting advanced defensive shielding. Yet the most perplexing revelation emerged from the marine life specialists. The local dolphin populations exhibited bizarre, uncharacteristic actions. They were gathering en masse around the vessels, exhibiting social behaviors that deviated wildly from all known paradigms. Their organized formations seemed almost strategic, leading some to describe their movements as eerily militaristic. "They appear to be actively safeguarding it," observed Dr. Layla Jackson, the team's foremost expert on marine mammals. "I've never witnessed cetaceans exhibit such coordinated conduct. They're establishing a clear boundary, communicating through ultrasonic pulses that our instruments barely register." Simultaneously, far away in Seattle, Washington, Michael Cooper, a 35-year-old oceanographer, was engrossed in lecturing his students about the abyssal depths when his phone vibrated with an urgent message from a longtime college acquaintance now stationed at the Pentagon. "They've located something extraordinary in the Atlantic, something colossal. Review your inbox." Michael's fingers began to shake. A flicker crossed Michael's face as he opened his inbox. Unlike his students, Michael harbored a deep, personal link to enigmatic ocean occurrences. His own father, Captain Thomas Cooper, had vanished into the Atlantic 30 years prior, commanding a research vessel probing strange magnetic disturbances precisely within the area where the triangle had been found. The official verdict: the ship, the Horizon, likely succumbed to a sudden tempest, yet no debris was ever recovered. Young Michael consequently grew consumed by the need to uncover the truth about his father's fate and that of the 23 souls aboard, lost without a whisper. The email held a single, heavily censored document bearing a classified insignia, accompanied by a terse message. They require seasoned specialists. Your unique expertise in deep-sea magnetism places you high on their select list. If you accept, absolute silence is paramount. Proceed directly to the provided coordinates for your briefing. Michael canceled his classes for the entire week, fabricating a family emergency, and found himself aboard a military transport plane within a mere 24 hours. His pulse quickened, fueled by the potent hope that after 30 years, he might finally learn what befell his father. Upon reaching the colossal floating research platform positioned above the Poseidon anomaly, Michael was immediately dwarfed by the sheer magnitude of the undertaking. Numerous vessels encircled a central hub, and security was so stringent it made a presidential escort appear lax. Navigating multiple security zones, he was escorted to a briefing chamber where Admiral Cooper awaited. "Dr. Cooper," the Admiral greeted warmly, extending his hand. "We deeply appreciate your prompt arrival given the urgency. I came as quickly as I possibly could," Michael responded, his gaze fixed on the monitors showcasing diverse perspectives of the triangular object. "Is that precisely why you've been summoned?" Cooper affirmed. "We suspect it may hold connections to numerous inexplicable disappearances in this vicinity over the last 100 years, potentially including the Horizon's fate." Michael inhaled sharply. A lump formed in his throat. His father's vessel. Cooper nodded, his expression grave. "We've meticulously examined the records from that vanished voyage. The magnetic disturbances they were probing align with our present observations, only far more intense. We surmise that the force that impacted the Horizon 3 decades ago is intrinsically linked to this anomaly." "Show me everything you possess," Michael declared with unshakable resolve. "In due course," the Admiral replied. "First, I must be certain you can set aside your personal stake in this. Your brilliance is vital, but not if it compromises your discernment." Michael held the Admiral's gaze, unwavering. "Admiral Cooper, my entire adulthood has been a relentless pursuit of truth. I will not imperil the most profound opportunity of my life through rash action." Cooper regarded him intently for a beat before conceding. "Understood. Welcome, Michael, to Project Deep Blue." In the ensuing days, Michael was thoroughly immersed in every facet of this monumental discovery. He collaborated intimately with the research cohort, particularly Drs. Harrison, Rodriguez, and Jackson. His specialized knowledge of oceanic magnetic fields proved an indispensable asset as they charted the peculiar energy signatures emanating from the triangular entity. "The rhythm is not chaotic," Michael elucidated during a briefing, gesturing towards an intricate rendering he had devised. "It pulses with a consistent periodicity, precisely every 108 minutes. He then accentuated a specific data cluster. "During each surge, the magnetic field diminishes just enough for our instruments to partially pierce the exterior. So, a fleeting opening," Sophia inferred. "A precious chance to glimpse within." "Precisely. However, our current deployed technology is insufficient. We require superior instrumentation." Admiral Cooper's brow furrowed. "What is your proposal, Dr. Cooper?" "My proposal," Michael stated, "is that we must approach far closer. We need a manned submersible, equipped with specialized protection against these magnetic surges." "Absolutely not," Cooper interjected instantly. "The dangers are still too unknown. With the deepest respect, Admiral, Michael countered. Our remote probes have reached their absolute limit. If we are to truly comprehend this, we must go beyond. We need answers, and someone must venture down. Hours of heated discussion followed, the science team championing Michael's daring plan, while the military urged Cooper's prudent approach. A middle ground was eventually found. A specially outfitted deep-sea submersible would be readied, its mission limited to observation, not entry. As preparations for the manned dive commenced, the dolphins near the anomaly grew more active. Dr. Jackson dedicated herself to observing their behavior, noting, "They're attempting to reach us." In a crucial team briefing, she declared, "The complexity of their calls suggests more than nature. It's like a coded message." Admiral Cooper, with evident doubt, questioned, "You believe the dolphins possess the intelligence for mathematical dialogue?" "I believe something has amplified their capabilities," Layla stated resolutely, "and it's intrinsically linked to that object below." Simultaneously, William, sifting through historical maritime records, uncovered a chilling pattern. Unveiling a map peppered with red markers, he revealed, "Every vanishing, every strange occurrence forms a precise geometric layout around our anomaly, stretching back centuries from colonial times to Thomas Cooper's expedition 30 years ago." Michael's attention sharpened at his father's name. "You knew my father?" William's gaze grew gentle. "Yes, son. We were colleagues before I transitioned to fieldwork. He was exceptionally brilliant, but also prudent. Whatever befell the horizon was not from rashness, I assure you." Michael's voice caught. "Thank you. That truly means a great deal." As the submersible's departure neared, the tension on the platform became palpable. The submersible, christened the Venture, was outfitted with every conceivable sensor. Shielded and bolstered against the strange magnetic distortions, the vessel was designed for a crew of 3. Michael, the brilliant scientific mind, Lieutenant Olivia Blackwood, the skilled pilot, and Dr. Harrison, the expert archaeologist. The eve of their journey found Michael restless. He stood on the exposed platform, his gaze lost in the ink-black water, where 1,000 feet below lay the profound truths he'd pursued for most of his life. His introspection was so deep that Sophia's arrival beside him went unnoticed until she spoke. "Nervous about tomorrow?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Michael offered a reassuring smile. "Riley, terrified, but not enough to retreat. That's courage, I believe. To be afraid, yet to proceed anyway." They shared a comfortable quietude before Sophia broke it again. "There's something I've kept from the others. I needed to verify my findings first." Michael turned, his curiosity piqued. "What is it?" Sophia explained. "That triangular alloy? I've cross-referenced it with every known substance in our archives. The closest approximation, though still distant, is a theoretical composite conceived by NASA engineers for interstellar voyages, a material engineered to endure the immense forces of travel at near-light speeds." "Are you suggesting it's an alien vessel?" Michael questioned. "I'm stating it's unequivocally not of terrestrial origin, and wherever its genesis, it journeyed an immense distance to reach this place." The weight of her revelation settled between them in the hushed night. If Sophia's assessment held true, humankind's solitude in the cosmos was an illusion, a misperception that had endured for an immeasurable duration. The next dawn saw the expedition poised for its monumental submersion. The submersible, resembling a sleek, futuristic scarab, gleamed with its reinforced exterior under the nascent sun. The launch proceeded without a hitch, and soon Michael, William, and Lieutenant Blackwood began their descent into the abyss. 400 feet, Olivia reported with serene composure. "All systems functioning optimally," Michael added, intently observing his specialized instruments. "The magnetic field strength is intensifying, but remains within anticipated limits." William, despite his extensive experience exploring the submerged realm. His gaze, usually reserved, pressed against the viewport like a child's wonder. Imagine the immense possibility we're the first to touch an alien relic. It truly dwarfs my history of lost vessels. As their vessel neared 900 feet, the water transformed, bathed in a subtle, unearthly light, as if the very sea had awakened. "Are you witnessing this?" Michael breathed, gesturing to the spectral blue radiance. "Perhaps some form of bioluminescence?" William ventured, though his voice lacked conviction. "No known species exhibits this," Michael responded. "And observe, its intensity grows with our approach to the anomaly." Suddenly, the link to the surface fractured, garbled with static. "Venturing Cooper, we detect anomalous activity. Proceed with extreme caution." "We're losing contact," Olivia observed, her hands expertly adjusting the controls. "And the magnetic signatures are surging. We're entering an active period ahead of schedule." "We must retreat," William stated resolutely. "Regain a secure distance until this phase subsides." Michael paused, his eyes fixed on the fluctuating data. "Hold, observe the rhythm. It's distinct today. The pulses are quicker, more rapid. It's as if what?" William pressed. "As if it's responding to us. As if it senses our arrival." Before his crewmates could react, a pod of dolphins emerged from the submersible's illumination, their graceful forms weaving in unison, directly towards their craft. "What on earth?" Olivia whispered. The dolphins encircled their vessel, their movements so perfectly aligned they appeared as one unified entity. Then, with a startling swiftness, they began to steer them, a gentle yet undeniable pressure guiding the submersible towards the enigmatic triangle. "They desire us to follow," William surmised. "Or perhaps they're shielding us from peril," Olivia countered. "No," Michael stated with an unshakable conviction. "They are leading us. For decades they have stood sentinel over this artifact. For ages, perhaps even millennia, these ancient beings now welcome us." A colossal male dolphin, his dorsal fin bearing unique marks, glided to the front of our vessel's primary window, his intelligent gaze locking with ours, sending a profound chill through us. He then purposefully inclined his head, signaling us to proceed. "This is truly extraordinary," William breathed, his scientific reasoning grappling with the incredible sight. Such direct communication, this purposeful behavior, is utterly absent from any known record. "Should we advance?" Olivia inquired, her fingers poised above the controls. Michael inhaled deeply. "Yes, but maintain a crucial, safe distance from that immense structure." As we neared the vast edifice, its true form began to resolve through an ethereal blue radiance. What we'd first mistaken for mere marine incrustation was something far more intricate. This growth had been meticulously arranged, tracing distinct patterns that mirrored the very framework of its hull. It felt as though the ocean's flora had been intentionally nurtured to conceal the object's profound reality. "Observe those circular apertures," William gestured. "Their configuration evokes ancient celestial maps, as if charting the stars." Michael was about to reply when a surge of energy pulsed from the triangular form, engulfing our submersible in a wave that briefly silenced all our instruments. Once our systems flickered back to life, a remarkable transformation had occurred. The circular openings now emanated a gentle, warm amber glow. "It's coming alive," Michael murmured, his voice hushed with awe. Abruptly, our sonar detected motion from within the triangle. Something was emerging from one of its larger portals, a presence moving with undeniable intent through the water. "We ought to withdraw," Olivia proposed, her voice tight with apprehension. "No," Michael responded, his gaze riveted on the approaching entity. "We journeyed here for understanding. I will not depart without it." The form fully emerged into our view. A miniature triangular craft, approximately 30 feet wide, mirrored the larger vessel's construction. It glided across the water with astonishing fluidity, settling directly before our research submersible. "A scout," William whispered, awe coloring his tone. "A smaller emissary from the mother ship." The dolphins, their movements fluid and deliberate, parted to grant the scout passage, but maintained a vigilant, protective circle around both crafts. The scout emitted a series of pulses, registered by our sensors as intricate electromagnetic signatures. "It's scanning us," Michael realized, a flicker of apprehension in his voice. Or perhaps, attempting communication. In an extraordinary display, the dolphins responded to these pulses with high-frequency clicks and whistles, their patterns uncannily mirroring the alien emissions. "They're translating," William breathed, utterly mesmerized. "The dolphins are our intermediaries." For several long minutes, this surreal, tripartite dialogue unfolded. The alien craft pulsing its messages, the dolphins relaying them, and us, the human observers, held captive by stunned silence. Then, with sudden intent, the scout advanced, extending what appeared to be a docking apparatus toward the Venture. "It wants to connect," Michael stated, his voice low. "That's madness," Olivia countered, her unease palpable. "We have no concept of what that might entail." Michael's gaze was distant. "I've dedicated my life to uncovering my father's fate. His final transmission spoke of encountering something in the water, something that defied explanation. I believe this is it. I believe this is what consumed the horizon." After a charged deliberation, the decision was made to embrace the unknown. The Scout's docking mechanism seamlessly engaged with the Venture's research bay, creating a sealed conduit between the two distinct worlds. Olivia's voice, laced with surprise, reported, "Atmospheric readings within the connecting tube indicate breathable air, slightly elevated oxygen levels, but well within safe parameters." "They've tailored their environment for us," William observed, a note of wonder in his voice. "They either anticipate guests, or they've welcomed them before." Michael began preparing himself, donning a lightweight diving suit. "As a safeguard, I'm venturing forth. Remain here, all of you." "Not a moment's hesitation," William declared. "I'm accompanying you. My seasoned spirit craves one final grand expedition." With Olivia's emergency preparations confirmed, the two scientific minds ventured into the connecting passage. Though brief, the tunnel felt like a profound transition into an entirely new realm. At its terminus, an airlock of distinctly extraterrestrial origin awaited them. William intently examined its workings, marveling at its intuitive engineering. "This emblem, I believe, signifies passage," he mused, gently pressing the marked section. The airlock smoothly engaged, breathing a soft sigh. As the interior portal swung open, they stepped into a space utterly alien to human perception. The scout craft's interior was a solitary expanse, its walls fluidly transitioning between solidity and ethereal transparency. Luminous glyphs pulsed along gracefully contoured surfaces, and at its heart lay a control station, clearly engineered for beings of vastly different physical forms. "It's breathtaking," William whispered, advancing with cautious curiosity. As they ventured deeper, the portal sealed shut, and the entire vessel began its silent propulsion. Screens flickered to life, revealing their orientation relative to the colossal triangular structure and the abyss of the ocean floor. "We're being drawn into the mothership," Michael comprehended, observing the scout craft's precise navigation towards one of the immense apertures within the primary edifice. The transit was fleeting. Upon docking and the subsequent opening of their vessel's hatch, they stood within a colossal chamber inside the triangular mothership. The environment shimmered with the same otherworldly azure radiance that permeated the surrounding ocean depths, and its design rejected terrestrial architectural norms, with flowing curves merging seamlessly into stark angles and surfaces that appeared solid from one vantage point, yet permeable, from another. "Observe this." William gestured towards what seemed to be a chronological record etched into a wall, adorned with symbols and depictions of Earth's progression through diverse epochs. "They have been, for ages, they've watched us." Michael, however, felt an irresistible pull toward another chamber, glimpsed through a shimmering wall. Within lay a trove of human relics, recovered fragments of vessels and aircraft that had vanished in these waters over countless years. And there, bathed in a special glow, rested the nameplate of the research ship, Horizon. "Dad's ship," Michael breathed, drawn as if by an unseen force. "They took it." William's comforting hand settled on his shoulder. But why collect them? What were they learning? Before Michael could fathom an answer, the floor beneath them began to glow, and at the chamber's heart, a holographic vision bloomed out. It depicted Earth, then focused on the vast oceans where they stood. A colossal triangular mothership appearing, followed by countless others, fanning out across the planet's seas. "They're everywhere," William stammered, awestruck. "Hidden beneath every wave." The display then shifted, revealing beings of ethereal, aquatic grace, not quite human. These entities were shown interacting with dolphins, guiding their development over eons. A slow, deliberate nurturing. They've been shaping dolphin evolution, Michael understood, crafting a bridge between their world and ours. The final scene depicted a harmonious future, humans and aliens collaborating, with dolphins as the vital link. A vision of unity, not subjugation. As the illusion dissolved, a new portal opened, revealing a chamber previously unseen. Inside, nestled within a remarkable preservation unit, lay a human form, an elderly man clad in the familiar uniform of a research vessel captain. "Dad," Michael whispered, his legs faltering as he moved forward. The unit, an enigma of advanced science, radiated a palpable stillness, its purpose undeniable. Captain Thomas Cooper rested there, held in time itself. 30 years had passed, yet he remained untouched, perfectly preserved, as if time had forgotten him. "He's alive," William confirmed, his eyes scanning the human-readable monitoring systems. They had safeguarded him all this time. "But why?" Michael choked out, his voice thick with unshed tears. "Why take him? Why keep him?" A holographic shimmer flickered to life, revealing Captain Cooper's ship, the Horizon, facing the mysterious triangle 3 decades prior. Unlike the Venture, the Horizon had been caught off guard by the intense magnetic distortions, leading to a catastrophic system failure. The aliens had rescued the captain, but sadly, the rest of his crew were lost. They couldn't communicate effectively, William explained, piecing together the visual narrative. So they preserved him, waiting to develop better methods, communicating through the dolphins and their grasp of our technology. The final image displayed Captain Cooper, awake, healthy, reunited with his son, and then, together, they served as emissaries between humanity and the silent, observing alien presence that had watched Earth for millennia. "They intend to make first contact," Michael whispered, the realization dawning on him. "And they want us, they want me, to help make it happen." "The question remains," William stated somberly. "Are we truly ready for the implications? Is humanity prepared to accept we are not, and never have been, alone?" As if in response, the preservation pod hummed to life, initiating an awakening sequence. Captain Thomas Cooper, gone for 30 years, was about to awaken to a world irrevocably altered, and to the son who had never ceased his quest. Michael stood mesmerized, his gaze fixed on his father's slowly fluttering eyelids. "I believe we're about to discover the answer." Admiral Cooper strode across the research platform, his gaze repeatedly drawn to his watch, an anxious tick he couldn't shake. They had been below for 3 agonizing hours with barely any communication. "I'm initiating a rescue operation," he declared. Sophia and Isla exchanged worried glances, the persistent magnetic interference making communication a harrowing ordeal. "Persistent communication challenges," Sophia reminded him, adding they had confirmed their safety about 30 minutes prior. "So much can transpire in such a brief span," the Admiral mused. Abruptly, the communications officer announced, "Sir, surface activity detected. Something is ascending, and it is not the Venture." All gazes snapped to the ocean as the water began to shimmer with the same otherworldly blue luminescence Michael had described observing from the depths. Then, breaching the waves with breathtaking elegance, the alien scout vessel appeared, its distinct triangular shape now fully illuminated by the sun. Security forces instantly adopted defensive stances, their weapons aimed at the emerging craft. "Hold your fire," Admiral Cooper commanded with urgency. "No one fires unless I give the direct order." The scout craft suspended itself just above the ocean's surface, water cascading from its polished hull. Then, with a precision indicative of superior technology, it settled serenely onto the platform's designated landing zone, a space intended for helicopters, not extraterrestrial visitors. For a silent interval, nothing stirred. The gathered military and scientific teams gazed intently at the triangular vessel, its exterior now emitting subtle, rhythmic lights in patterns that felt profound, yet utterly enigmatic. A seam then materialized on its previously seamless structure, expanding to reveal an opening. Silhouetted against the brilliant interior glow stood 3 individuals, 2 clad in diving gear and 1 wearing a captain's uniform, absent from wear for 3 decades. Michael emerged first, his expression a profound blend of elation and wonder. "Admiral Cooper," he announced, his voice firm despite the momentous occasion. "I wish to introduce my father, Captain Thomas Cooper." The elder Cooper appeared, blinking in the daylight, his first glimpse of it in 30 years. Though his health remained impeccably preserved by advanced alien science, his eyes conveyed a deep wisdom and a profound weariness, the look of one who had peered beyond the limits of human comprehension. Admiral Cooper advanced, his usual composed demeanor momentarily shaken. Emerging from the profound shock, Captain Cooper returned to a world transformed. "Admiral," Thomas declared gravely, "our window is closing. They await discourse with humanity's foremost leaders, but require guarantees. For ages untold, they have observed us, patiently awaiting this opportune moment." "They?" the Admiral inquired, though the revelation became undeniable as a 3rd silhouette materialized from the scout craft. It was not William Harrison, as anticipated. Instead, a being of indisputably alien origin strode onto the platform. Towering above the average human, with limbs stretched and features hinting at both aquatic and terrestrial adaptations, this visitor moved with an effortless fluidity that suggested intentional design. Every soul on the platform stood utterly still. Guards, hands hovering near their weapons. Scientists, mouths agape. Admiral Cooper, his hand partially raised, poised between greeting and alarm. The alien mirrored the gesture, 6 slender digits unfurled in an unambiguous sign of peace. Then, communication flowed, not through sound, but directly into the minds of all assembled. "We have endured our wait. You are now prepared." As these profound words echoed within their thoughts, the ocean's surface surrounding the platform began to stir. Scores, then hundreds of dolphins broke the waves, leaping and vocalizing in synchronized formations. And from the abyssal depths, like colossal ancient beings stirring from slumber, arose more triangular vessels. First 1, then 3, then 7, until the entire horizon shimmered with their presence. Captain Thomas Cooper turned to his son, a tender, sorrowful smile gracing his lips. "I promised I'd return, Mikey." I simply took a rather lengthy detour." Michael chuckled through his tears. "Only 30 years tardy, Dad. Not too shabby for navigating the cosmos." And as humankind stood on the precipice of its most monumental revelation, that we had never been solitary, that celestial voyagers had silently watched over us for countless millennia, father and son embraced, their love spanning the chasm of separated decades, an enduring testament to a bond that time could not diminish. The unfolding miracle deepened, resonating across continents. In Washington, the president received urgent updates on the swiftly developing events. New York's news channels buzzed with speculation about peculiar oceanic occurrences, fueled by bizarre readings. Across every ocean, more triangular vessels ascended, their period of hiddenness irrevocably over. The dolphins, embodying an ancient partnership with both humankind and these newcomers, continued their exultant dance around the ships, celebrating the profound union of three sentient species that would forever alter existence on Earth and in the cosmos. William Harrison, finally emerging from the scout craft, his notebooks overflowing with rapid sketches and keen insights, perfectly captured the moment as he gazed upon the momentous tableau. "I dare say," he remarked, his voice filled with understated wonder, "this will constitute a rather fascinating addendum to my textbook's next printing." Admiral Cooper, his expression a mixture of awe and amusement, simply responded, "Dr. Harrison, I suspect you'll be needing to pen an entirely new volume." The inaugural formal Interspecies Council was slated for the subsequent week at the United Nations. The visitors, who identified themselves as the Valians, had specifically requested the presence of dolphins, not only as cultural emissaries, but also as vital translators. This request initially baffled UN representatives until Captain Cooper clarified that dolphin vocalizations, when expertly deciphered via Valian technology, forged a crucial connection between the profoundly distinct neural architectures of humans and Valians. Michael found himself unexpectedly propelled into the position of humanity's principal liaison, alongside his father. Together, they commenced the immense undertaking of conveying to global leaders that Earth had, for untold ages, served as a safeguarded node within the Valian network, a developing world discreetly observed until its ascendant species achieved the requisite technological and ethical maturity for official engagement. "They possessed the capacity to subdue us at any juncture," Thomas explained during a preliminary briefing, his tone reflecting a deep understanding. "However, that is not their nature. The Valians are inherently explorers and custodians. They diligently maintain their outposts. Across countless nascent worlds, they subtly shaped intelligence's ascent, refraining from overt intervention, except when they took you and your vessel," a skeptical general noted. Thomas gently countered, "They didn't abduct us. They rescued me, the sole soul they could reach as our ship foundered. Since then, they've tirelessly sought a safe return for me, simultaneously deciphering human biology and minds to permit direct interaction." Michael gazed at his father, his admiration palpable. For 30 years, Thomas Cooper had navigated alien conservation, adapting with astounding fortitude to his transformed existence. Adjustments were inevitable, bridging technological chasms, grasping alien customs, and enduring the agonizing truth of his wife's passing, believing him lost to the ocean's depths. Yet he had secured something immeasurably valuable, a profound insight into an advanced extraterrestrial society and its cosmic role, a gift few humans would ever possess. As the UN summit preparations surged forward, Michael, Thomas, and William toiled relentlessly, distilling their Valian knowledge into clear briefing documents. Sophia meticulously detailed their technology, while Isla pushed the frontiers of dolphin communication. Surprisingly, Admiral Cooper emerged as a fervent champion of peaceful dialogue. "My career was built on defending against dangers," he explained when Michael queried this transformation. I recognize a threat instantly. These beings possess the power to obliterate us at any point over 10 millennia. Instead, they waited with unwavering patience for our maturation. Such forbearance commands profound respect. The evening before their journey to New York, Michael discovered his father on the research platform's deck, his eyes fixed on the celestial expanse. "Contemplating home?" Michael inquired, joining him at the rail. Thomas offered a gentle smile. "Which one? I've known several in my time. Did you ever surrender hope of seeing Earth again? Of seeing me?" Thomas fell silent. For what felt like an eternity, a heavy silence hung between them. "There were truly dark days," he finally confessed, his voice laced with weariness. "The Valians strived to ensure my comfort, yet the solitude gnawed at me. What sustained me was the certainty they were learning, gaining insight into how they might one day approach humankind without inciting fear, and the hope that, by some miracle, you would uncover the truth of my disappearance." "I never gave up searching," Michael murmured, his voice barely a whisper. "Mother believed I was consumed by it. Perhaps I was." "Your mother was a remarkable soul," Thomas said, his gaze drifting to the alien vessels, their lights painting the darkened ocean with an ethereal beauty. "She would have understood this. She would have had so many questions." A wistful smile touched Thomas's lips. An infinite cascade of questions, in fact. The Valians wouldn't have known what to do with her. They stood in comfortable quietude for a time, the unspoken weight of their shared experience settling around them, until Thomas broke the silence. "They intend to share their knowledge with us, Michael. Their advanced technology, their medical marvels, their history, treasures beyond our wildest dreams. But they will ask for something in return." "What could we possibly offer them?" Michael questioned, a sense of awe tinged with trepidation. "Partnership. The Valians aren't conquerors, but they aren't solely driven by charity either. They seek allies in a vast endeavor, a cosmic confederation of intelligent beings united for mutual survival." "Survival against whom?" Thomas turned to meet his son's gaze, his expression etched with solemnity. "The universe, Michael, is far more ancient and wondrous than we ever conceived. And not all that inhabits it is benevolent. The Valians have adversaries, ancient rivals with profoundly different philosophies regarding the treatment of emerging civilizations." A shiver traced its way down Michael's spine, a chill that had nothing to do with the encroaching night. "So this isn't merely first contact, it's an invitation to join their ranks in a way." "But it's a choice entirely our own," Thomas emphasized. "That is their unwavering stance. Unlike their adversaries, they believe advanced species must forge their own destinies. And should we decline their offer, they will honor our decision, but their protective embrace will be withdrawn." The magnitude of this revelation was overwhelming. Humanity, which had so long believed itself to be utterly alone in the vast expanse of the cosmos, was suddenly thrust into a cosmic drama of unimaginable proportions. Soon to learn, they lived under an advanced civilization's protective wing, a protection now vulnerable to withdrawal. "We must inform everyone," Michael urged. Thomas agreed. "Tomorrow, during the final briefing, they must grasp the full gravity before meeting global leaders." As father and son went inside, they missed the colossal form gliding through the dark depths, a Valan bioconstruct dwarfing a blue whale, one of many ancient guardian entities that had silently patrolled Earth's oceans, guarding against all threats. The UN summit marked a pivotal moment for humanity, a species only recently free from global conflict and still grappling with basic planetary care. Humanity's readiness for this cosmic outreach remained uncertain. Yet as Michael Cooper lay awake, reflecting on his path from grieving child to humanity's stellar envoy, a familiar feeling stirred, one absent since his father's passing 30 years prior. Hope. not just for himself or his reconnected family, but for all humankind. The cosmos unfolded as vaster, more intricate, and far more magnificent than ever conceived. Despite their imperfections and missteps, humans were deemed worthy of an invitation to its grandest assembly. Tomorrow promised trials beyond comprehension, but tonight, beneath stars now known to harbor allies as well as enigmas, Michael Cooper found peaceful sleep, a solace unseen in decades. Below, the dolphin's timeless melodies echoed. These songs, now recognized as far more than mere animal sounds, represented Earth's hidden chronicles, safeguarded by benevolent watchers who had maintained a delicate balance between observation and intervention since humanity's earliest settlements. The secrets of the Bermuda Triangle and countless other ocean enigmas were at last revealing themselves. As the dawn broke, humanity's childhood amongst the stars drew to a close, ushering in a profound new era for every soul on Earth. In his nearby cabin, William Harrison concluded the opening chapter of a monumental work. For the day humankind discovered they were not solitary wanderers in the cosmos was marked not by dread or dominion, but by the tender embrace of a father and son, sundered by the very cosmic energies that now bound us. Should this astonishing communion offer any wisdom, it might be that our deepest bonds, even across immeasurable voids of space and comprehension, are our truest anchors. The Valians, possessing vast technological might and a cosmic view, grasped this verity, choosing to await our readiness to comprehend not merely their presence, but their intent, to link, to safeguard, and to broaden the tapestry of awareness throughout a universe too immense and glorious for any single species to traverse in isolation. This felt like a fitting prelude to humanity's grandest narrative, a story destined to unfold across countless tomorrows.